Cade Cunningham's remarkable season hangs in the balance as the NBA Players Association rallies against a controversial rule that could cost him crucial accolades. Cunningham, the cornerstone of the Detroit Pistons, was recently diagnosed with a collapsed lung, an injury sustained during the team's electrifying 130-117 victory over the Washington Wizards. This medical setback could sideline him for the remainder of the regular season, a devastating blow for both the player and the franchise. In a year where Cade has emerged as a genuine dark horse MVP candidate, the stakes couldn't be higher. Having played 61 games this season, Cunningham's performance has not just been impressive, it's been transformative for a Pistons team that has been striving to reclaim its former glory. His offensive prowess, defensive tenacity, and leadership on the court have been pivotal in guiding the Pistons through one of their better seasons in recent memory. However, if he's unable to return before the playoffs, he faces a dangerous threshold, falling short of the 65-game requirement for end-of-season awards eligibility. The NBA Players Association is rightfully incensed at the prospect of Cunningham missing out on postseason honors due to this rigid 65-game rule. In a strongly worded statement, they highlighted how this policy, intended to combat the epidemic of load management in the league, has backfired spectacularly. Cade Cunningham's potential ineligibility for postseason awards after a career-defining season is a clear indictment of the 65-game rule, they stated. This sentiment resonates deeply within the Pistons fan base, as many feel that Cunningham's season has been nothing short of extraordinary and deserving of recognition. Let's be clear, Cunningham's injury is not a product of load management. He is not one of those players who has been resting for the sake of strategic advantage. He is a player who has put his body on the line for his team. The fact that he could miss out on the All-NBA team, not due to lack of performance, but because of a rule that fails to account for genuine injuries, is a gross injustice. This scenario is compounded by the fact that other superstars like Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Victor Wembanyama have also faced significant injuries this season, further highlighting the need for reform. The NBPA's call for the abolishment of the 65-game rule, or at least the creation of exceptions for significant injuries, is not just a plea for fairness. It's a necessary evolution in how the league approaches player health and recognition. The NBA must recognize that injuries are an unfortunate part of the game, and punishing players like Cunningham, who have excelled on the court, simply because they were sidelined by an unforeseen circumstance is fundamentally flawed. As fans of the Detroit Pistons, we stand firmly behind Cade Cunningham. His contributions this season reflect not just his talent, but also the heart and grit that embody this franchise. The team has rallied around him, and now, as he faces this daunting challenge, it's our collective responsibility to ensure that his efforts don't go unrecognized. The Pistons are building something special, and it would be an absolute travesty for Cunningham's season to be marred by a rule that needs to be revisited. Transitioning from this critical situation in Detroit, we now turn our attention to another aspect of the Pistons' season that has fans buzzing. The Detroit Pistons find themselves in a precarious position as they brace for the impact of losing their star player, Cade Cunningham, due to a collapsed lung. This injury doesn't just take a toll on the Pistons' on-court performance. It casts a long shadow over Cunningham's burgeoning legacy and his rightful place in the NBA's award season. With the team's playoff spot secure, the focus shifts to the implications of his absence for accolades like League MVP and All-NBA honors, an area where Cunningham had been making a strong case for himself. Now, the National Basketball Players Association is stepping into the fray, challenging the rigid requirements that govern eligibility for these prestigious awards. The rule is straightforward but harsh. Players must participate in at least 65 games to qualify for major honors. This stipulation was put in place to combat the rampant load management that has become an unfortunate trend in the league, but it fails to account for the nuances of players' health circumstances, especially in a case like Cunningham's, where the injury is both serious and unforeseen. While the Pistons' decision to rest players for strategic reasons is one thing, Cunningham's situation is a starkly different narrative. This is not a case of load management. It's a significant medical issue that has abruptly sidelined one of the league's brightest young talents. The harsh reality is that Cunningham, who has appeared in just 61 games this season, will fall short of the threshold for awards eligibility, and that's a bitter pill for Pistons fans and basketball purists alike to swallow. The NBPA has voiced its concerns, highlighting the absurdity of the situation. They argue that Cade Cunningham's potential ineligibility for postseason awards after a career-defining season is a clear indictment of the 65-game rule. It's difficult to disagree. This rule is overly rigid, leaving deserving players like Cunningham on the sidelines of recognition due to circumstances beyond their control. Cunningham isn't alone in this predicament. Other stars, such as LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, are also facing similar fates, with their chances for All-NBA selections dashed by missed games. Even the likes of Victor Wembanyama and Nikola Jokic are teetering on the edge of ineligibility. This trend raises a critical question. Is the current system truly serving the best interests of the players and the fans? The intention behind the 65-game rule was undoubtedly rooted in the desire to have the league's marquee players on the court consistently. After all, fans invest their hard-earned money in tickets, hoping to witness the brilliance of these athletes in action. Nobody wants to arrive at a game, shelling out hundreds of dollars, only to find their favorite player is a late scratch due to load management. But the inflexibility of this rule is now under intense scrutiny, especially when it leads to the exclusion of players who are sidelined by genuine injuries. Consistency is key in any system, and while it's understandable that the league wants to maintain a competitive environment, the application of these rules needs to be more nuanced. A player's stardom or season performance shouldn't dictate the enforcement of these regulations. It's a slippery slope to navigate. Either uphold the rule strictly across the board or consider exceptions for players with significant injuries. The current landscape suggests a need for reform. In a league defined by its volatility and the physical demands placed on players, the 65-game rule may need a re-evaluation to better accommodate circumstances like Cunningham's. As the Pistons move forward without their star, fans can only hope that the system will evolve to better reward those who give their all, even in the face of adversity. The conversation is far from over, and as we delve deeper into the future of the league, the implications of these rules will undoubtedly be a central theme. Now, as we transition to the next segment, let's explore how the Pistons plan to navigate this challenging time and what it means for their playoff aspirations without Cunningham leading the charge. The Detroit Pistons are making waves, and on Monday night, they proved their mettle with a thrilling 113-110 victory over the Los Angeles Lakers at Little Caesars Arena. As the final buzzer rang, fans were on the edge of their seats, and rightly so. This game was a roller coaster, showcasing the resilience and grit that Pistons fans have come to expect. The game began with Detroit taking a commanding 13-point lead in a halftime. However, the Lakers aren't known for backing down easily, and they stormed back after the break, outscoring the Pistons by 11 in the third quarter. It was a classic NBA showdown, one that came down to the wire. And in those crucial moments, it was the Pistons' ability to execute key plays on both ends that secured this hard-fought victory. A standout performer was Jenkins, who truly seized the opportunity presented to him in Cade Cunningham's absence. The second-year guard from St. John's delivered a career-high 30 points, along with 8 assists and 4 rebounds. Jenkins was a force on the court, attacking the basket, showcasing a smooth mid-range pull-up and hitting all 4 of his three-point attempts. While some may be surprised by this sudden outburst of production from the undrafted rookie, Jenkins himself remained unfazed. He acknowledged the disbelief, but emphasized his unwavering confidence in the work he's put in. Everybody else is surprised. You know what I mean? For myself, and I speak humbly and respectfully, but I just know the work that I put in, man, he said. Those words resonate deeply. They reflect not only his determination, but also the broader spirit of this Pistons team that refuses to back down. Now, let's not gloss over the struggles of one of the greatest players in the game, LeBron James. It's shocking to see a player of his caliber, who once ruled the court, score a big fat 0 in the first half. This was the third time in his career that he's been held scoreless in a half, and the first since 2010. Sure, at 41, he's not the same player we once marveled at, but his ability to contribute is certainly still there, as evidenced by his average of 21 points per game this season. After the game, James hinted that his evolving role within the Lakers offense, which now revolves more around Luka Doncic, impacted his performance. But let's be clear, Detroit's defense played a significant part in this equation, effectively denying LeBron the ball and executing precise strips when it mattered. With just 30 seconds left in the game and the Pistons down by 1, Jenkins emerged as the hero. After receiving the inbounds pass, he took it to Reeves off the dribble, creating enough space for a step-back mid-range jumper from the baseline. Danis Jenkins' career-high 30 points plus the dagger to end Lakers' 9-game win streak. Wow. The crowd erupted, and Jenkins had given the Pistons a 111-110 lead, an electrifying moment that showcased the potential of this young star. But the game wasn't over yet. Detroit's defense tightened up, and Kevin Huerter made a critical stop, forcing Doncic to miss a tough jumper with just 14 seconds on the clock. The Lakers had one last chance to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, but Jalen Duren was not about to let that happen. He locked down on Doncic, preventing any Luka magic from beyond the arc, sealing the win for Detroit. This victory extends the Pistons' winning streak to 4, a testament to their resilience and ability to close out games. Yes, they nearly let it slip away, but that's the nature of the NBA. Runs happen, especially against teams as offensively potent as the Lakers. The narrative of this game was undeniably centered around Jenkins' career-high scoring performance, but let's not forget about Duren's contributions. He's also on a scoring streak of his own, marking his 6th consecutive game with at least 20 points. While Jenkins was flawless from three-point territory, Duren was busy completing all 10 of his free throw attempts, showcasing his all-around improvement as a fourth-year player. Looking ahead, Jenkins could very well be the X factor for a potential Pistons playoff run. With the urgency of finding ways to win without Cunningham, Jenkins' emergence is timely. The scoring output we've witnessed in the last few games might not be sustainable, but if he can consistently contribute around 12 to 15 points per game when Cunningham returns, that could make a significant difference for Detroit's aspirations. The competition is heating up, with the New York Knicks on a roll and Jason Tatum back in the mix for the Boston Celtics. It's clear that for the Pistons to make a serious run at the finals, they'll need every player to step up and bring their A-game. As we reflect on this exciting victory, it's hard not to feel a swell of pride for this Pistons team. They've shown they can face adversity head-on and come out victorious. So what do you think, Pistons fans? Are we witnessing the dawn of a new era in Detroit basketball? Make sure to subscribe and leave your thoughts in the comments about where this team is headed.